What's happening, Hammers? Dan Lawless here, back with another edition of the West Ham Week, where I take three of the top stories from West Ham for throughout the week and break them down into 2-minute sections. Lots to talk about this week, lots of stories, including three players that could potentially be leaving West Ham in January. Also, David Gold's comments defending a donation to millionaire boss, Premier League boss on his way out, Richard Scudamore. But first, now let's get into our first topic. Without further ado, start the timer now. Arnautovic, a big story that people have been talking about, and it broke, I think, earlier in the week. The story came out about him wanting to leave West Ham. Now a second part to this story has come out about him potentially wanting £200,000 a week wages from West Ham to stay. A so-called West Ham insider or someone from inside the club or a spokesman, whatever, is confirmed, but there's nothing official, so take it with a grain of salt. But he did go and have an interview, him and his brother, an interview with Austrian press, and said that how much they love West Ham, but you know, he's a top player and needs to be challenged, you know, and competing at the highest level. And you know, I don't disagree with that. I would not blame him at all for wanting to leave. You know, there's only, you know, so far that you can go, you know, in this current situation. Like, we've been crap. We've been so crap, and he's been carrying the team for a while. And, you know, he's 29 years old. Like, you want to look back on your career and think, you know, what have I won? And if he has a chance to go somewhere he can win or play in the Champions League, then, you know, you can't blame him. He's performing very well at the moment. So it'd be sad, but again, I wouldn't blame him. And on the flip side, this 200 grand a week, you know, I don't blame him for wanting that, because when he's looking around and seeing that Javier Hernandez is on about 150 a week, which is more than what Arnautovic gets, and he's like, well, I play every week. I make a big difference. I carry the team. This geezer hardly ever plays. And he's getting paid more than me. Like, can you blame him for saying, well, if he's 150k a week, I should be 200k a week? So it's, you know, hard to really argue, but maybe try and offer him on parity 200, 150 a week. Offer him a raise, definitely, because we need him to stay. He's going to be a very hard player to replace. So let me know what you guys think about that. Anyway, next story coming up is the story that caused quite a lot of outrage among football fans, not just West Ham fans, is the clubs got together and voted. I think the majority of clubs voted in favour of giving the sort of leaving Premier League boss Richard Scudamore a £5 million golden handshake. So that means sort of when he leaves, here's £5 million. Thank you for your service. Now he's going to be highly paid as a consultant, which is, I think, it's absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful is to give this man all this money. The bloke's a millionaire already. Why are we giving him £5 million? Why are clubs finally coming together, right, to donate some money, and it goes to a bloody millionaire geezer like him? You know, a lot of people have suggested it should go back into grassroots football, and I highly agree. We should be. If you donate £5 million into grassroots football, the national team might do better. The clubs might be able to find better players. I have to keep spending over the odds for players from abroad. You know, give kids good facilities to play football in and equipment and stuff like that. There are loads of charitable causes. You know, I mean, we've seen how amazing the campaign for Isla Caton has been, the amount of money that was raised by fans and everything, you know, and finally, you know, she's looking like she's on the mend, which is great. But how many other sick kids are there out there, you know, that could do without help? You know, they're talking about 250k each from each club. So that means West Ham United is looking to donate 250 grand to this bloke, when, you know, there might be other little young West Ham fans out there that could do with that, who are ill, or any kid. These clubs could be helping out in charitable clauses. I don't want to hear, oh, they've given some money to charity. You know, this bloke, like I said, this bloke's a millionaire, and for David Gold to come out and defend it and say, oh, it's right, and anyone who criticises is looking for trouble, I don't know what that means, but it just shows how far out of touch he is. And for someone who was a working class bloke, how far away he is from that. You know, it's disgraceful. Finally, as I mentioned at the top of the show, there's reports from ex-employee that 3 players could potentially leave West Ham in January, and those players are Michail Antonio, Reece Oxford and Javier Hernandez, which probably don't come as much of a surprise to a lot of fans. These players, you know, haven't quite lived up to their potential at West Ham. You know, and Antonio had a great first couple of seasons at West Ham, especially that first season at the Olympic Stadium or London Stadium, where you know, he was banging in goals. He was our best player that season, and he's just really dropped in form. You know, he's put on weight, bulked up, and he's just fitness ain't there, and he ain't been the same player. And it's sad to see, because, you know, he was one of my favourite players, but, you know, it's not been at the level that, you know, we expect. Reece Oxford hasn't quite lived up to the hype, whether it's, some people have said his attitude or what, but it hasn't worked out for him. And it's sad because, you know, we had a lot of high hopes of Reece Oxford, but he just ain't been able to figure himself into the first team, you know. And we've had Declan Rice has done it, Dean Garner has done it, so, and Javier Hernandez, you know, a lot of us were buzzing when he signed, and I feel like he was hard done by for a lot of the period of his time, you know, under Slaven Bilic and David Moyes. And I feel like he'd be a lot better played as two up top, you know, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of more problems in there. You know, he's been ill, his fitness, and he's on a lot of wages as well, which apparently is causing a bit of upset in the dressing room, is how much money he's on, the fact that he hardly ever plays. So at this point, these players, it's probably best for them to move them on. If we're bringing other players in, there's no point moving these players on unless we're bringing someone, replacements in, you know, other strikers, wingers, and stuff like that. Not so much Reece Oxford, but, you know, for those two, definitely. But it'd be sad. Hopefully they can turn it around. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. You know, it's been hard. I read all the comments, but it's hard for me to find the time lately to reply, but I will try and reply. I've been on the go, but I am going to Cyprus for the week, down to Paphos. And so I'll be away for the week. I will try and still do a few bits and pieces, but you'll have Ryan, Nikki and Scott, and building you up for the Man City game. I'll be away for the Man City game. I mean, I think that might be a blessing. Who knows? I can see us getting better than that one, but I'm always holding out hope. You know, you never know in football. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. One thing left to say, come on you irons.